It's officially July of 2025. If you fell off the bandwagon with your fitness goals the first 6 months of 2025, then don't stress, because in this video, we're gonna be resetting, regrouping. By the end of this video, you're gonna be feeling more prepared, more aligned with your goals, and have a clear plan on how to get back on track with your fitness goals. I'll be guiding you through a mid-year reset. Timestamps are below in case you wanna skip around it all. And I'll be giving you examples from my personal fitness goals, which at the moment are to gain muscle and lose body fat. Go grab your notebook or a journal or your notes app, somewhere you can write this down, because we are going step by step through this. And step number one, very simple but powerful. Here I want you to write down all of the potential fitness goals you have for the next 6 months. These can include goals that you set back in January, maybe you worked on them a little bit and then gave up or fell off the bandwagon. These can be brand new goals that maybe you just more recently became interested in, or they can be something that you've previously never wanted to do but changed your mind about and now you're interested in. It doesn't matter, just brain dump all of the potential fitness goals. And you can do this with just fitness goals, or you can do this with any goals you have in your personal life as well for the end of 2025. That's just how my brain works. It thinks all goals. That's how I sort through things. So I did this with all of my personal goals. For me, there were about 13 to 15 total goals on there. Of those, there are about 4 to 5 fitness related goals. And just to get your brain moving right now, a few ideas include if you have body composition goals like gaining muscle, getting stronger strength goals, losing fat. If you have a performance goal such as running some sort of race like a 5K or a Spartan race or a Tough Mudder, or even calisthenics goals. So if you're looking to get your first pull-up, your first handstand, or maybe you have a completely different fitness goal, whatever your goals are, just brain dump them right now. Now, once you've got your full list written down, I want you to pick your top 1 to 2 fitness priorities. Which 1 to 2 of these fitness goals feels most important or most interesting for you? Which of them call to you? And these are the goals that you're going to structure your fitness plans around. And it's completely okay if the goals that you're most interested in aren't necessarily the ones that you started 2025 with. And I'm saying this because when I was younger, I used to feel like a huge failure if I didn't finish a goal. It didn't matter what the goal was. It didn't matter if I even really wanted to do it anymore. If I had a goal, I started like tweaking if I couldn't finish it. What changed for me is I started asking myself the question of, is this something that the woman who I want to become would be doing? Because sometimes, yes, it's just discipline and you need to keep going towards the goal. And sometimes I realized I was just working on a goal for other people and trying to complete it for my ego, but I wasn't actually doing the goal for myself. And that's never the point of personal or fitness goals. You should be doing something that is for you, for your better self. It's not failing, it's pivoting. And in order to continue to work towards your dream potential, most wonderful self, you need to continue to pivot and make sure that you stay aligned in the path. Don't stress if these aren't what you started working on. Moving into step number 2. Now, those goals that you picked, I want you to make them really specific. So if you wrote down something like, I want to get my first pull-up, tweak that just a bit to make it more specific. Add in a time that you want to get it by. Maybe that's January, maybe you're a bit more advanced in your progressions toward the pull-up and you can get it maybe in like 3 months. Maybe you're really close and you want to get to your first 3 pull-ups by January. Be really specific. And if you don't feel confident in your ability to hit that goal by January, that's okay, but don't make that your goal. Instead, say, okay, I want to be able to do this exercise progression by January, which will put me on the way towards getting my pull-up goal. So maybe that's resistance band assisted pull-ups with only a 10-pound assist by January, which puts you on track for your goal. Alternatively, this might look like changing I want to train calisthenics into I want to consistently do 3 calisthenics workouts every week. So adding in a little bit of detail in there, making them very specific goals is going to help you accountability-wise and actually getting to the goal, because the more clear our goal is, the easier it will be for you to actually get there because you know what you're aiming for. It's really hard to hit a target if you're like, I don't know where the target is. You gotta like pick the target, and it's okay if it changes because that's all part of the reiteration process and just updating as we go further along. But make your goal very specific and write it down right now. It's crazy, but multiple psychology studies have shown that people who write down their goals are significantly more likely to accomplish them than people who just think about their goals. So write that down. Moving into step 2. So now that you've got your top 1 to 2 fitness goals, we're going to be breaking them down into monthly or bi-monthly benchmarks. So think about what that 6-month goal is. What's a realistic benchmark that you could accomplish at the halfway point in 3 months or every other month? So 3 2-month checkpoints. And mapping these big goals into monthly or bi-monthly targets helps make them more actionable and measurable. So try to figure out those benchmarks and write them down right now. Pause the video if you want to. But using myself as an example here, one of my top fitness goals by January 2026 is to be able to do at least one muscle up with no assistance. So at about the halfway point, I want to be able to do about 5 resistance band assisted muscle ups. A different example, if I were working towards my first pull-up, I really want to get my first pull-up by January, I might break down my benchmark by the 2-month point. I want to be able to do at least 8 resistance band assisted pull-ups with a 30-pound assist. This is just a random potential benchmark. Pull-up goals and calisthenics goals are very specific to the person and their body weight to strength ratio, so these are just kind of random numbers. Now, a different example, if you were looking to gain muscle, you might be looking at very specific strength benchmarks for in the gym. You want to see a 10-pound increase in dumbbells by the 3-month mark. Or you might want to see your bench press increase in strength by at least 20 pounds by the 3-month mark. If you were working towards more of a physique goal, you might be looking for a noticeable difference in progress photos, body fat percentage, muscle visibility. If you have a mobility goal, you might be looking for a more noticeable increase in energy and range in motion. So those are just a few examples, but try to make your goal challenging yet achievable. I like to set goals that make me feel like I have about a 50 to 80% chance of achieving it. And that helps me set ambitious goals that just feel like a bit out of reach, but they keep me working hard so that I really try to achieve them. All right, so you should have monthly or bi-monthly checkpoints written down on your piece of paper, and let's move into step number 3 now. And in step number 3, I want you to ask yourself, what weekly actions can I make in order to hit this monthly or bi-monthly goal I have? And this is where the real transformation is going to happen, because without the actual actions and habits that you make on a weekly or daily basis, goals are just thoughts. We need to actually put it into action. So now you know what you're working towards. Go ahead and write down a few ideas that you have on how you can specifically get to that goal. And your weekly action is going to be super specific to your fitness goal, but I'll use myself as an example here with my goal of losing fat and gaining muscle over the next 3 to 6 months. A few weekly actions I'm going to start working towards is hitting my protein goal at least 5 or 6 out of 7 days every week. Eating enough protein. Also consistently strength training at least 4 workouts per week, meal prepping 2 times a week, walking 10,000 steps every single day, and adding my workouts to my calendar so I've got them scheduled in there. And those are just a few examples of goals I've set. Actually, I didn't set the meal prep one. I'm not a big meal prep girly. Might get into that, but that was just a different example. The other ones are real though. And depending on your fitness goals, you might have similar goals to me, or you might have completely different goals. A few other fitness related examples include hydrating, drinking water, getting 8 hours of sleep, 8 in 5 servings of vegetables or fruits, meditating, following macros if that's something that you vibe with, training a certain number of times a week, adding stretching after a certain number of workouts or specific workouts, or attending a specific number of group fitness classes. Those are just some ideas. Of the ones that you wrote down, feel free to use as many as you like, but try to pick at least 1 or 2 that you can really stick to. And once you were able to stick to them for at least 1 to 2 weeks, go ahead and add in another. In the past, I've made the mistake of being like, I'm really dedicated to this fitness goal. I really want to get after it. So I'm going to do these 10 things now, these 10 new things, and get after the fitness goal. And what happens is vibes are high. You're going for it like week 1, and then week 2, you know, it becomes a bit overwhelming trying to do 20 new things all at once. And eventually, of course, I fall out and end up doing none of them. And that's not the goal, because the next step in this process is going to be creating habits. Habits form after somewhere between 21 and 60 days or so of doing a repeated action. And we really want these habits to instill, because habits are like hacks where once you have them, you don't have to rely on discipline as much or really think about what you're going to do in order to get to your goal. It just feels natural. Your brain wants you to just do the action anyway. It becomes a huge life hack once you have the habit of going to the gym or eating enough protein or having the schedule that you've set for yourself that's going to help you get to your goal. So we don't want to pick too many actions at once, because it's going to be really hard to form a habit with so many different things. So try to pick a reasonable number. For most people, that's going to be 1 or 2. And then once you've got those down set, go ahead and add in more. And step 4 is tracking your habits. And there's a ton of different ways you can do that. There's the Notes app in your phone. There's habit trackers online. Realign. There's the Reminders app on the iPhone. There's Google Calendar. There's Google Tasks. There's Notion. You could use a physical journal. You could write it down on Post-it notes. I personally use the Notes app in my phone to track, just because I carry my phone with me everywhere that I go. So I can always check my Notes app and see what I have or haven't done yet. I also use Post-it notes because I'm obsessed with being able to cross off my to-do list and goals, because it just feels really good. It just feels good to be done with them. And if you decide to do Post-it notes, you write down your action every single day. Remember what we talked about, writing down your goals, you're way more likely to accomplish them. Same with the actions. So you want to work on forming these habits that will help you get to your specific fitness goals. And I found 2 little hacks that have made it easier for me to perform these actions and make the habits that are going to get me to my goals. Hack number 1 is celebrating the wins. Every win, even the small wins. As a chronic list checker, someone who loves getting stuff done, I would hit a benchmark or a goal and I would just breeze by. I'd be like, oh, got the goal. All right, anyway, what's the next one? And I would just continue working on, never pausing to actually celebrate or think, wow, well done, Emily. You really worked hard for this one. No, I would just breeze right past it. But what I was teaching myself when I did that is that it didn't actually matter if I hit my goal or not. There was always something I had to work for. So never actually letting myself enjoy the goal kind of was telling myself that my goals didn't matter so much. But I noticed that when I actually started celebrating the tiny little benchmarks, because some goals are monumentous. They're huge and they take a long time to get to. So when I actually started celebrating the tiny little benchmarks, I found that it just made it easier for me to look forward to the goal, because I was breaking it up so that there were so many little celebrations throughout. I felt really motivated to keep on working towards it. For example, I just got back from a long travels and I'm just getting back into the swing of things for fitness, even though I've been working out for years and years and years. But the first week back in fitness, it's always really hard. It's always really hard. Week 1 going back into working out is always the hardest for me. Usually motivation isn't necessarily the highest. I feel the weakest that I ever have been in like so long, and you get really sore. So there's not a lot of positively reinforcing things. So what I did, it's week number 1 and I successfully have gone to 3 workouts so far this week. And that is a little pat on the back. That is something to celebrate. It's the first week and we're already celebrating. That's the trend that we're carrying into the rest of 2025, the celebration mindset. And this could be celebrating going to the gym when you didn't even feel like it. You still went. That's a celebration. It could be hitting your protein consistently for a week. It could be going to your workouts consistently for a month. And the actual celebration reward part might look like getting yourself a cute little latte, getting yourself a cute little workout outfit, going on a girls' night out with your friends. It might be letting yourself read for an entire afternoon. That sounds like a celebration to me personally. It doesn't have to be a crazy big celebration, but it's about acknowledging your accomplishments and rewarding yourself along the way. Plus, neuroscience research has shown rewarding yourself along the way increases your dopamine response, which increases your motivation and your ability to form habits. So rewarding yourself is basically just reinforcing the habit that you're forming anyway. It's like double prizes. All right, I said there were 2 motivation hacks before and I only listed 1. And other than celebrating wins to reinforce forming those habits, the other way is, if you're a visual person, vision boarding. If you've never vision boarded before, there's tons of different YouTube videos on it, but the idea is when you visually see your goal, it reinforces the reminder to go do the action that will get you to your goals. So if I see pictures of me running a marathon, I am always reminded of my goal to run a marathon. Oh yeah, I've got to go for my run later today. Oh yeah, I should probably be eating enough fruits and veggies to get myself proper micronutrients so I feel healthy running. Oh yeah, I gotta go hydrate. It's basically a visual reminder of what you're working towards and the things that you're doing to get to that goal. So what you do for a vision board is you go on Pinterest, you go on some other internet search software, and you find images that align with your goal. And then you create a collage of all of the images. This could be just fitness, or this could be all of your personal goals. I do all of my personal goals. And you create that collage and you put it somewhere that you see these images every single day as a bit of a reminder. And you stare at those images for at least like 30 seconds and you consciously remind yourself of your goals. Vision boarding doesn't work if you never actually look at the pictures. You actually have to look at the pictures and be like, yes, this is what I'm working towards. You don't make it and then all of a sudden you're magically gonna accomplish your goals. It's like subconsciously programming yourself to believe you can get to your goals. Then you stick this collage in places like next to your bathroom mirrors for when you're brushing your teeth, or on your refrigerator for when you're making breakfast, or as your phone screen. Oh, I have my phone screen. This is the first half of my 2025 vision board. It's my phone screen. I see it every single time. I open my phone multiple times a day, and I've checked off so many of these. I've actually checked off about half of the things on here. Dragon squat, done it. Hiking Mount Fuji, just did it. Working on handstand goals, working on it. Yeah, and all my goals are on here. So I've got a lot of relationship ones, friendship ones, travel ones. But go make it like a girls' date. Like call your besties and be like, hey, want to go vision boarding? You've literally got your goals now. You know what actions you need to take. So go on Pinterest, find a bunch of pictures that really align with your goal. The mistake is when you just go pick pictures that are like a vibe and you like. I've made that mistake. It looks cute, but it doesn't actually really remind you of your goal. It's just kind of like a vibey picture. So choose pictures that really help remind you of your goal. Save them. Use Canva, use PowerPoint, use slides, use any type of app that allows you to merge pictures together, create your little collage and print it out, put it somewhere you can look at it every day. So as a quick reminder of your mid-year reset, you're going to write down, brain dump all of your different ideas for your fitness goals. Then you're going to pick your top 1 to 2 main priority ones that align with you in your current life and who you want to become. Break that big 6-month goal into monthly or bi-monthly milestone targets to work towards, and then create weekly actions that will actually get you to that monthly milestone. And track that you do those actions every single day or every single week so that they actually do become habits. And don't forget to celebrate the little wins. I think it's important to remember that this reset isn't about pressure. It's about the possibility of who you can become, what you can accomplish in the next 6 months of the year. It's really exciting. So I hope that this video helped you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, let me know in the comments and I will see you in the next video.